so today I would like to show you how to integrate a CORTEXpro gyro system into an existing standard airplane setup. So we do have a main receiver with single channel outputs. We do have servos connected to it. These three servos in that example should stand for aileron, elevator and rudder. And what we use to integrate the Cortex, of course, is a CORTEXpro sensor unit. We use the supplied cable loom that comes with the CORTEXpro and the jumper for programming. So the first thing we want to do is connect the cable loom to the Cortex. This goes all the way to the right side to ports A to D, and this cable loom supplies up to 6 channels to be run directly through the Cortex. It's 6 inputs numbered from 1 to 6. You will find the specific numbering in the manual. And on the other side, the CORTEXpro outputs up to 6 channels. This is where the servos are connected to. So what we do right now is simple. We unplug servo per servo from the main receiver and run it through the Cortex. So I will show you in an example for aileron. In my setup I have aileron connected to channel 2. So I will unplug the servo from channel 2 of the receiver. And now I could use any port of the CORTEXpro, doesn't matter which. I will use output 1, and then I take cable number 1 and connect it to the output of the receiver where the servo was connected before. This is the procedure we now do for all the servos. Next I will take the elevator servo, connect it to output 2 of the CORTEXpro, and take cable 2 from the cable loom and connect it to the port of the receiver where the servo was connected before, number 3. Same thing for the rudder. Unplug the rudder servo from the receiver. I will make it a bit more interesting now and connect it to output 4 of the CORTEXpro just to show you that it does not matter. And so I take cable 4, which is the yellow one, out of the cable loom and connect it to the receiver to port 4 where the rudder servo was connected before. One more additional cable I need to take care about, that's the gray one, which supplies the gyro channel of the Cortex. In my setup I chose channel 5 to supply the data for the gyro channel. Next step is the signal type teach-in. So in this case we're using the cable loom, and the CORTEXpro needs to learn to read data from the cable loom. That teach-in is pretty easy. We turn on the radio and we power up our receiver, Cortex and servo system. So power up the airplane in case it's all installed. And once power is up, we simply plug the jumper into the programming port and the Cortex will give us a fast blue blink. After a few seconds this will change into a slow blue blink. There we go. At this point the Cortex has learned the input type, it knows how to read the channels from the radio, and the next step will be the teach-in of the controls. So we unpower the whole system. And now, with the jumper in place, we will power up the system again. And after powering up the system again, the Cortex will respond with LED blinks and servo bumps to indicate that it's awaiting designated order of stick inputs to do the control teach-in. So, jumper is in place. We power up the system and wait for the first double green blink, double bump on the servos. Here it is. So go aileron right and hold. Single blink, single bump, aileron left and hold. Another double bump, elevator down and hold. Single bump, elevator up and hold. Double bump, rudder to the right and hold. Single bump, rudder to the left. So the final double bump, now it wants to see the gyro channel. I got it programmed, as I mentioned before, to that switch up here. Flick it once, and the CORTEXpro will respond with a flickering green LED telling us that the whole sequence is confirmed and it's ready to go. We now unplug the jumper and power the system off. So this is it. All that needs to be done to connect the CORTEXpro to a single channel output receiver via the cable loom, do the input type teach-in, and do the control teach-in. Finally, of course, you will have to set the gyro channel. Our recommendation, as stated in the manual, is get it to normal mode in between 10 to 15%, maybe 20% gain, and take off your airplane, get into the air, and start to tune the gain. Tune it up as long as you think it can still need more. Once you find an axis to oscillate, so kind of give it a wag or faster oscillation, back off the gain a little bit, and there you go.